Okay, hello everyone, greetings, welcome to my channel. It's Adam, the South End guy. Just welcome me back to my channel. This is my second vlog. On the first one, I chatted about my CBR 600, how that came about. Today, I'm on my Thunderbird, my trusty old Triumph Thunderbird, and yeah, it's another story of my love affair for these things. How it started back in 2010. I eventually got my licence. I was a bit of a late start, so I was a bit of a late comer to getting my full licence. Well, I've been riding since I was 16, but compared to all my friends, yes, I was late, but that's another story. So yeah, just to talk about how I came to have a Thunderbird. Now, as I said, back in 2010, that's when I got my licence, and you know, the next discussion came about in what bike was I going to go for, and I'd already been muting. I quite fancied the BMW GS. I like my adventure bikes. At the time, I wasn't particularly bothered about sports bikes, although I did get them at the time. Different story now. So yeah, it was a case of BMW GS or I've always been a fan of Triumph, especially since they restarted back in 1990. You know, I admired the model lineup that they had, and the Bonneville quite appealed to me. You know, just a lovely old school looking bike to me. So yeah, that was the thought process. Well, anyway, I got chatting with one of my old mates from school. There was three of us. We started riding together, and yeah, we started riding together. So anyway, I was sort of chatting online, and I mentioned about the Bonneville, and my mate Al suggested, what about the Thunderbird? Well, I would have given it a thought, to be honest. So looked at the pictures and the specs and all the rest of it. I thought a retro style triple. Now yeah, that's quite unusual. I like that. I like the look of it. I like the thought of a 3-cylinder engine. So yeah, that's where the seed was sown back in yeah, around 2010. Anyway, at that time when I passed my test, I was living in a little village called Wormshill, which is between Sittingbourne and Maidstone. Now, around those few years, I was sort of flitting backwards and forwards between Essex and Kent, either working, living, and so on. And as I say, at that time, I was living in this village, and the roads there, in a word, were crap. You know, the actual poor condition of the tarmac, and always covered in tractor crap. You get the idea if you've ever been on a country road. You know what I'm talking about, proper country roads. You know, with single tracks and, you know, potholes you can get through the back to Australia in. So anyway, that ruled out any possibility of sport bikes anyway. And also cruisers, anything with chrome on it, and so on. So at that time, it would have ruled out the Thunderbird, and also my budget at the time was really limited. We'd just come out of the, you know, we were just sort of still in the process of the financial crash. Every bit of work that I was doing was 0-hour contracts, you know, and with care work and security and all the rest of it. So again, I had a very limited budget and a very limited rides. So what I ended up buying at that time was my Honda Dominator, my first one I've had to. And yeah, it suited the purpose, especially for where I live, because I felt if I was going to buy my first bike, I wanted something that wasn't going to cost the earth if I dropped it and so on. Anyway, that was yeah, say 2010. If we move forward now to 2013, now I'm back in Essex, I'm back in South End. I've been back in South End for about a year. Okay, I was planning to go and live and work in Tenerife. That didn't pan out. I've got cold feet in the end of the day. I've got a couple of friends taught me out a bit, and you know, that's the story for another day as well. So I thought, right, okay, back in South End, and I still have my Honda Dominator. I'd also bought a Cavalier SRI, one of the old school SRI, you know, the old red top 150 brake models. Oh, I'll tell you what, great car, smashing engine in that. So that's what I had. I'd actually bought the Cavalier the previous year. In July 2013, I managed to write the car off. Come over a humpback bridge, sun caught me in the eye, I couldn't see what was going on, it went back to someone. Alright, that was then, that was the car written off, goodbye. And I thought, well, it's not a great problem because I can get about on the bike, you know, my old Dommy. Admittedly, the Dommy was having one or two issues with burning oil, which, you know, I would have dealt with. So, that was July. Yeah, I was down to just one. I was just down to one vehicle, and then oh god, I've got a twat and a quad behind me. Here we go. So yeah, that was I think I'm going to pull over and let this idiot go, so I can chat to you in peace. So anyway, a few weeks after I wrote the car off, let's let this idiot go past me. That's it. I'm going to talk to him please now. Let him be an idiot or whatever he wants to do. Yeah, so as I say, a few weeks after I've written the car off, I remember it when I was first out of the Premiership, BT Sports had just got some of the rights to the Premiership games, so they was given a free day. So I was sitting upstairs in the shared house that I lived in, watching the football. Now I pop my bike up, usually goes in the garage. I know what people say, you should always lock it up, blah blah blah. Well, I mean, I wasn't intending to stay in long. I did a couple more hours than I intended to. Well anyway, I think it was about 10, 11 o'clock in the evening, I eventually came out, and my Honda was no longer there. Someone had stolen it. Naturally I'd done my pieces over this, and yeah, it'd gone. I couldn't believe it. In the space of 3 weeks, I'd lost my car and my motorcycle. Freaking believable. Anyway, so that's what happened. As I said, I'd always wanted a Triumph Thunderbird. The Junior Soap motorcycle shop up London Road, Jules was at Thunderbirds quite often. He'd get one in every year and sell it on, and he'd had a couple of beautiful ones in there. He's not a bike dealer, he just does parts, you know, but he'd sell the bike, he'd sell the Thunderbird on that he had at the end of the season. So I thought, what I'd seen each one, I couldn't justify the money for them at the time, as again, I was still doing sort of 0 hours work, you know, so I was sort of getting by, and I couldn't really justify getting a loan on something that I thought, you know, was sort of, I didn't actually need, because Honda was getting around. Well, now I'd lost my car and my bike, it sort of become imperative that I've got transport. So I bit the bullet, I got a loan for 4,000, and I thought, right, well, if I'm going to get a Triumph, it's now or never. And it just so happened that the bike I'm sitting on was the one that Junior Soap had bought in that year, as I say, it's back in 2013. And I was actually in his shop buying some parts for my little TZR 250 project I had at the time. And I sort of half jokingly said, because as I say, bear in mind this is August, it weren't the end of the you know, what we call the biking season. And I said to him, "And I suppose you want to let that Thunderbird go early?" And he's like, "Well, name your price." So I don't know. I know the going price for these. It's about £3 grand. So that's what I offered. And he went, "Done." I thought, shit, he's probably paid less than that. He just said an outright done on it. So yeah, that was it. And went and got the money from my bank, done the deal, rode it home. It came with a summer screen, a grab rail, the nylon panniers. I've since got the leather panniers as well. So yeah, that's what it all came with. I think it's 21,000 it had on the clock. Immediately impressed with how it rode. Anyone, I'm not even taking for a test ride. I trust Jules because I know he looks after his stuff, but yeah, I was just literally off the bat. Yeah, immediately impressed how it rode. That was 2013. Since then, as I say, it was on 21,000 when I bought it. It's now on 51,000. So you can appreciate I've ridden this quite a lot. I've been up to York on it a couple of times. The first time I rode back in torrential rain. We had a month's worth of rain in one day. Oh, that was fun. I got understandably soaked. Well, parts of me did. I could waterproof, but the bike really behaved itself. It was good as gold. And it wasn't the first time we got caught in torrential rain, because when I first bought it, it was actually my only transport, and I had to get around to my various DJ jobs that I was doing. Fortunately, at that time I'd gone over to laptop, so it was possible. And yeah, it done what I asked for it admirably. So yeah, I've done York twice. I've ridden down to Germany with a couple of mates. There was a good story attached to that, which I might cover in another video. So yeah, I'm been thoroughly impressed with this. Modification wise, I've not really done anything. I sort of have the screen on and off when I feel like it. I like the stripped back look now. You know, it looks sort of more retro, if that makes any sense. But cosmetics aside, as I say, I've not touched it otherwise cosmetically. What modifications it has had, it's got the tour pipes, you know, the Triumph off-road pipes, as they called them. In other words, they're not as quiet as the standard pipes. I'll try and give you an idea what that sounds like in a minute. Also, adjusted cannon filter, changed the inlet rubbers from the standard restricted Thunderbird ones to the mod that was suggested is to fit the inlets from the Sprint, because remember at the time these were still very modular in their construction, so bits were sort of interchangeable. So I swapped them out, obviously adjusted the needles and so on, and the performance is great fun. You know, it's never going to, obviously you're never going to really trouble a sports bike or anything like that, but if I can get some open road, which is easier said than done these days, I can show you I just twist the throttle and it's off. There's no rating for that power, although it does, obviously you get that bit where, you know, the power does sort of pick up, but it's very linear. You know, the torque's nice, the power's nice, it's very linear. Unfortunately, I don't know, for fuck's sake, excuse my French, I don't know, because I'm stuck on this bloody van, where I can actually open her up properly so you can get an idea on the sound and how quickly it just picks up. Yeah, but the power delivery is just, it's lovely. really, really enjoyable. And as I say, the sound that now goes with it, which you can flip the back. Hopefully I'm going to get a sustained one. I'll just have this fan buggers off out of the way. Handling wise, I like it. It's never given me cause concern. I can chuck it through the bends willy-nilly, and when I've been out with my mates who ride all sorts of different things, but I've got a couple of mates that sort of like to ride fast, if you know what I mean, and by and large I keep up, and they're always surprised. But they said when we're flying around the areas we go, you know, like up around by Stansted, they've got some great roads up there. We're surprised that you're never out of our mirrors. And all you can hear is that triple blacking away. It's, yeah, as I say, the handling I feel is nice and neutral. Well, I don't think I'm going to get much of it right now, because, well, I mean, it's residential anyway, so I can't really open it out, but you'll get the drift. Braking wise, I mean, it's quite good. It's as good as it's going to be. I mean, it's only single disc front and rear. The Thunderbird Sport, which incidentally, as far as I can tell, the power output of this should now be up with the Thunderbird Sport, from what I can understand. But the Thunderbird Sport has a dual brake front, as opposed to this, which is a single. But it's, I mean, you know, the line's with a nice braided line, decent pads. It's never caused me any concern about wanting to stop quickly. You know, it's always been good. I'm going to be stuck behind this freaking van. Oh no, oh, happy days. He's pulling off. I'll rephrase that. Right, okay. So I'm going to get an idea on how quickly it picks up that noise. There we go, nice sharp bend. Put down braking, drop down the gear, open the throttle. I'm hoping you can hear all this. It's, you know, the nice pops and bangs, and over we go. I mean, I'm leaning this bed, it's lovely, and I'm not even pushing it. Oh, there goes my foot. So I've just grounded my foot out on the tarmac. And over we go again. Oh, back then. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we've just got there a brief idea on our phones. I might, well, we were waiting, didn't we? Over we go, she tips in so nicely. And we'll do the same again. Onto the left. I'm not going to drop down the gear because I'm already in a decent one. As I said, this has got such a nice, as I said, the power in this is so nice, and then you don't, unless unless you're in like full fifth gear, you don't really need to swap the cogs too much. Hello, another Triumph, this car. Oh, GT6, lovely. Yeah, I was meant to try a car as well, probably great. So anyway, yeah, I'm just dawdling a little bit here. We're going to go through Shopland, which is just over there, so I can give it another quick blatting. We've got some lovely roads there. However, people do like to use them. Right, so That road's a bit pooey. Okay, so just a nice gentle gear change, and then here we go. Brake in, then gear, tip in, and there we go. Bloody Peugeot, get out of my way. Brake before you see one. Oh man. So, nice and straight, I can put that and off we go. Oh, hello. Taxi! And there's another car coming. A roller. Thunderbird again. A nice sweeping electric car. Never come up to it's so nice and balanced. And again, no need for brakes on that one. It was a little bit gentle what I've taken up before. In again. So I'm hoping he can. There is a bit of a it is a bit breezy today, so I'm hoping it's not going to be too bad for you. But just say you can hear that engine note. Yeah, it's what it is. So yeah, this will be come next month. I would have had this 7 years. I actually paid her off 3 years ago now, I think. Yeah, it would have been. Didn't pay her off early. I don't know what road trips are coming up because with this COVID thing, being as my other job is DJ work. Obviously, we've you know that went by the board back in March, and we're probably going to be one of the last to return to work. So who knows? But I mean, I've got a couple of road trips I want to do. I'll just take it a bit easy now. It's yeah, this is just I cannot get sort of transpire how much I love the bike. And you know, the biggest thing for me is that I never get tired of it. Even now, you know, I still smile as much now as when I bought it, probably more so since I carried out the little mods. Yes, my fuel consumption's gone up, that's expected. Not helped much from my right hand, a bit low. But yeah, I'm as far as I'm concerned, this thing will stay with me as so long as there's petrol for sale and I can still ride. This is going nowhere. I'll tell you that for nothing. Doesn't matter what you offer me. Well, obviously everything's got a price, but you know what I mean. In terms of reliability, now this is the older modular Triumphs, which were over-engineered, and it does show when you look at this bike. I'm going to take a tour around it so you can see it. As I said, this has done 51,000 miles now. She is 25 years old. I keep her clean. I don't do anything too special, and okay, last cut, since I paid her off, I try not to take her out when the roads are crappy anymore. There's been times which has been my sole transport and it's been unavoidable, but you know, these days particularly I've got I've got my CBR, my car when it comes back on the road. I might do a vlog about that actually. But actual reliability now, one thing, the bike itself has never let me down. There's been times when it's played up. I think the only time it failed to start was in Belgium when we was coming back from Germany, and it weren't the bike's fault, it was the battery. Now we all know batteries are like 3 years and they can go. So that weren't the bike's fault, it was the battery. The only problem engine wise I've had was a crank position sensor, and the funny thing about that was I didn't know there was anything wrong with it until there we go again. I didn't know there was anything wrong with it until my car actually came off the road, due to a couple of repairs that I needed doing to it. So I had to use this, and I was working, I'm sure it was Ellsbury, might have been later Buzzard. I've been DJing up that neck of the woods for the best part of 5 years, and the problem was I've not really been using the bike for long trips. I've literally going around town, going up the Dick Turpin for the Tuesday bike night, that sort of thing, local journals, so never really properly warming up, you know. And yeah, so it was never really properly warming up. Well, anyway, I packed my bags, I'm off, I'm up the 127, going on to M25, I've gone up the slip road, gunned it, and then all of a sudden just cut it out. What the hell's going on here? So pulled over, tried starting it, gave it a few minutes, tried it again, fired up, great, okay, crack on, and it done it again. Cut a long story short, I was wondering if I was going to get to Ellsbury, because I need to get work, you know. DJs are self-employed. If you don't turn up, that's our money gone, you know. And for the couple of nights we work, we get a lot of money for the one night, the relative amount, you know, for what we do. And I thought, am I going to get there? Well, anyway, I was sort of getting closer and closer. I sort of kept the speed down. It was okay, cut it up a few more times on the way out, and I thought, well, if I can get an Ellsbury, do my job, I'm not too bothered contact on the way home because I've got breakdown. So that's what I did. But anyway, on the way back, it did cut out. I took it easy. The weather wasn't great at that point, so it was obviously cooler. And I took it easy, and I only sort of cut it out 2-3 times. Got home anyway, so you start the you know, start the process of trying to find out what's wrong with it. Check the fuel, you know, getting the spark and so on. Anyway, I googled the problem, got a couple of Triumph forums, and what it looked like, it turned out to be, was a crank position sensor. Which was a common issue. Like 40 quid I think it was, and it cost a lot. So I got one, chucked to my mate Alistair, borrowed his BMW for the Saturday night, and yeah, it was all done. Alistair, hopefully you will meet in a future video, because he's promised me a test ride of his ZZR 1100, and I'm immensely looking forward to that. But as I say, that'll be a future video. So anyway, that was it. Turned out to be the crank position sensor. Easy job, done. Since then, touch wood, I've had no problems. Ironically, the only sort of issues I've had, there is one that will need to be dealt with, in that there's a nut that's on the alternator that's broken, and you can hear it rattle sometimes. That also, see, I think I've had the calipers have also seized up, and 1 or 2 issues with the carbs. I mean, ironically, those problems that I've mentioned, the parts, in particular the brakes and the carbs, are Japanese, and the alternator is German. It's Bosch item. I mean, how ironic's that? The ones that, things that I've had issues with, the foreign bits, the foreign bits that's on it. That's it. So, yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this bike. I'm so glad beyond happy that I bought it. Now, the prices of them now, they've sort of gone up a little bit, and they're generally 90% of the Thunderbirds that I've seen for sale are very low mileage, so you can snap up a relative bargain. You can get quite a few accessories for these, including like a sissy bar for your passenger and so on. Although what I would stress is that the prices of like Triumph accessories are not cheap. I mean, the sissy bar, I've seen it go for around 200 quid. I think I paid 50 quid for these tour pipes, but that's going back, I think I fitted them 5 years ago. So that was 5 years ago. Try and find a set of tours now. Well, find them first and then see the price of them. So, the genuine Triumph accessories cost a small fortune these days. That's the only downside to them. But they're thoroughly reliable. It's just a great ride, If you don't want the fun element, I'm sure I've just seen Dan doubling. They're a fun element. If you're not worried about tuning, they're great as they are. Nice, easy to ride. And then, as I say, they do put a smile on my face when I want to give it some. But that's because I've done a couple of mods. The only other mods I might do to this, I was thinking about getting the billet 6-block caliper, but I've been told don't worry too much about that. The only other thing I want to do is probably upgrade the suspension. So yeah, that's what I'm probably going to do next. But that's going to have to wait until God knows when I start earning money again. This COVID's been a right pain in the backside, if you know what I mean. So yeah, there we go. This is my Thunderbird. It was one of the earlier ones in 1995. The first ones, and I think it was actually the first retro Triumph that came out of Hinckley, because obviously okay, I think they know what they're doing. Yeah, it literally was the first retro bike to come out of Hinckley, because obviously this predates the Bonneville by a few years, and obviously these went down well. They were actually the idea behind the Thunderbird, apart from the retro thing, was to make a competitor for Harley. And then if you follow the Thunderbird lineage, they stopped in 2003. They then made the 1600 twin, and then they bought that's a 1700 twin, which I never tried. No thanks, mate. And yeah, so that was the thought, that this was to basically built to try and break into the Harley market, and Triumph have had some, a bit of success there. Probably not quite as much as I wanted, I think, but yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to pull up in a moment and try and get a few still shots, have a quick walk around so you can get a gist of this bike. Now this is Shuby Garrison here. I have got a plan, if you're following me, for the paranormal stuff as well. I will be giving this site a visit for a paranormal investigation. Yeah, I think we're just going to stop there. I'll probably go down there to be taking the mickey a bit. Yeah, so I'm just going to have a quick walk around. But yeah, hopefully I've got this jotted down on my list of places to visit for doing a paranormal investigation. Well, I've got my meter with me at the moment, but I think I'll leave it for today. So anyway, yeah, just going to have a quick walk around so you can get a good view. There we go. No, she don't look bad for a 25-year-old bike. As I say, it's not cosseted. It's kept garaged. You know, I keep it clean. Yeah, it's not all these things you wrap up in cotton wool. You know, at the end of the day, it's my bike. I'm not selling it. You know, I bought it to use, and that's exactly what I've done. So there we go. Yeah, and as I said, it'll be coming up a few still shots. So I hope you've enjoyed my second vlog, and we will see you again on the next one. Take care.